Hello, Unique Couples community. Welcome to day 8. Yes, day 8 of the 7 pillars to strengthen your marriage summit, Marriage on a Mission. We are in for another fun-filled time today, and we have another set of special guests with us this evening. So welcome to 7 pillars to strengthen your marriage summit. Hashtag 7 pillars, hashtag marriage on a mission.
Oh, yeah. So we are definitely looking at 30 days, 30 couples, 30 ways to make your relationship stronger, healthier, and happier in 30 minutes or less a day. And so far for 8 days, we've been doing well. So stick around, stay tuned, and go ahead now and share. Let someone know that they have to be in. We are going to have a wonderful time learning more about what definitely keeps marriages together. And of course, our special guests, the Smiths, are going to share. So go ahead, share to help.
Yes. Hello, Dan and Deborah. How are you guys doing?
Hello, we're doing wonderful.
Awesome.
It's a privilege having you here today. And I know our viewing audience, they're going to have a great time as we dive into today's session. So, Dan and Deborah, can you go ahead and tell our viewing audience a little about yourselves and how and when did you meet?
Okay. Well, I'm Dan Smith. I'm a retired law enforcement officer after 40 years. That I didn't retire from doing type of work. I became and acquired 2 businesses. One is alarm service and the other is handyman service. Staying busy. We have 4 kids, 3 boys and 1 girl. And then we have 7 grands.
Ooh.
So yeah, we are busy all of the time.
Yes, and I'm Deborah, the president and founder of Build Your Best Life. So that keeps me pretty busy, but that's my passion and purpose. Love spending time with family, especially I call them my 7 heartbeats, those grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
Where we met in, it was around 1990, and we were both in the same organization. And so that was how we met, and we became friends. We were just friends for the longest time, for years. So that was how we met. But we were friends first.
Yeah.
Awesome. So this is what, Jacksonville in the house tonight? Yes,
Jacksonville.
Awesome. Great having you. We know you've hosted for us on our Sunday Unique Couple Sunday Night Live for years. So the show has been going. It will be 6 years now. We are celebrating our anniversary come this December 7, 2025, and we're culminating all of that. We'll be doing our 30 days with our 7 pillars to strengthen your marriage summit, and we will end with on December 7th, our anniversary night with an all-white couples affair. Right here in Freeport, Grand Bahama at Pelican Bay. And of course, we're inviting everyone who's here in Grand Bahama and anywhere else who would want to come and join to do so. You can find the link in the description, or you could contact us, send us a message so that you can get more information on that. But I'm saying all of that to say, during that time, the Smiths, you've been with us along that journey of sharing and imparting knowledge, and even with Build Your Best Life and equipping young men. And some of those young men are now probably ready to get married, right, Deborah? Because some of them are born, right? And so it's good that, we've partnered so many times before, and you've been a host on our show. And so we're so happy that after 6 years, we're still going strong.
Yes, definitely.
And like Dan and Deborah said, I think she said 1990. So we're talking some over 30 years. So that's just remarkable. That's tremendous. We say congratulations.
Yes.
So Dan and Deborah, can you tell us what is an obstacle or challenge you faced in dating or in marriage, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah. So after 30 years, there would be some stuff, right?
Well, yes.
Obstacle. I would just say, I guess because we weren't younger, we were, older, middle aged when we married. We were kind of like both set in our ways, and so it was just like silly things. I think that would come up, and for instance, terminology. So Dan had a tendency to say, he would always say he was going to let me do something. I said, I'm going to let you, but it could have been something fun, but he was going to let me do it. And I had this block in my head, like, you're going to let me? What do you mean you're going to let me? So, it just was one of those things. And so we just talked about it, and it's like, okay, when you say that, this is what I hear. And he's like, that's not how I mean it. That's just a word I use. So that just goes to show how communication is so key.
Yes.
You can say, that's two people can say they be saying exactly the same thing, but they say it differently. So you have to become accustomed to understanding. But if you don't have a tendency to listen, and not always take offense, that could just go all different types of ways. So
awesome. That's important. That communication, that's very, very important.
What about you, Dan? Any obstacle or challenge from your point of view?
I guess my challenge was being, when we started dating, we dated for 7 years before we got married.
Ooh.
That was a challenge me. I need to make sure I'm doing it. We're doing this right. I want to do the right thing. Is this the right person for me? And that's my challenge right there. Those thoughts just kept running across till I said, okay, yeah, that's the right one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the biggest challenges that I had, really.
Okay. And after that, the rest was history.
After that, rest is history. Right.
All right. Awesome. And you guys are contributors in the book 7 Pillars to Strengthen Your Marriage.
Yes.
Can you tell us about your contribution to the book 7 Pillars to Strengthen Your Marriage?
Sure. Tell you about some of those things. And it's those things that we kind of really believe in. Like one of those is your finances. Now, I see a lot of people get in trouble in their marriages because they don't talk about, finances, even though they may still both work, they both put money in accounts, but, one person will go off and spend something and they don't talk it over. And that can cause a conflict because, together you should know what's coming in the household, what have you budgeted. And so one person shouldn't be just go off and, make an extravagant purchase and you haven't talked it over with your spouse. So that's something that's always important to talk about, and when we marry, how are we going to handle finances? Because, people often say, well, the man is a leader, he's supposed to guide the family. But that may not be his expertise, or he may not be good in handling the money.
Yeah.
We talk about it ahead of time, not to say I'm in charge of the money, but if I know how to budget, how to balance and make sure that we're saving enough, we're paying our tithes and doing all this, is it okay for me to do it? But you decide those type things before you get married. So there's no, recourse afterwards. So that's one of the things.
And another one is parenting. We're a blended family, and we discuss how we're going to discipline the children. First of all, we took out the word as step.
Yes.
We don't say step. No, I'm daddy. That's mama, not step. Yeah. That's one of the things we did. And one thing about it, we always talk about the children. If they got problems, you know, we have them to come to us if they got a problem. If they got a problem, Deborah and I discuss it. It's not like, well, Deborah discuss with our oldest one and say nothing to me, because that causes the conflict.
Yeah.
Especially when you hear it later.
Yes.
Let's deal with, you deal with it now and not hear it later. So that was a major, thing that we worked on, and that there. But for discipline, that was one of the greatest things. And thank God that all four of them, they're very well disciplined, and they're great kids.
All right. Great. So there you have it, Unique Couples Community. Our contributors to the book, Dan and Deborah Smith. You can find it right in 7 Pillars to Strengthen Your Marriage. You want to make sure get your copy.
Yes,
if you haven't gotten your copy yet, you can go to Amazon and purchase it. If you are here in Grand Bahama, you can go to Variety Vault downtown in the Independence Square. You can also find it at Bellevue Gift on Queens Highway, or you can reach out to us and get your personally signed autographed copy of 7 Pillars to Strengthen Your Marriage. So go ahead and get your book and read more details about the information that Dan and Deborah spoke about in the book about parenting and also about finances as it relates to a couple. So you want to make sure you go ahead and read that valuable information that was put here in the book. So thank you again, Dan and Deborah, for your contribution.
Welcome.
Welcome. Thanks for
asking. And can you tell us what is your favorite part of the book?
Well, it was all very good. So again, if you're out there and you haven't got your copy yet, you have to get it. This is amazing. I love it. But one of the things I liked in here was in the crafting a vision for your marriage. And, it's not that couples are not in love or they don't like each other, but sometimes you have to have that conversation about what is it that you're looking for in a spouse. You don't just say, oh, that person look good. I think I'm going to get with that person. No, what is it that you are looking for? You've been praying to God for in that spouse. And I found that in chapter 1, crafting that vision. So what are the non-negotiables for me? Do I want someone, a partner, whether they're churched or not church? No, I was looking for a Christian. I wanted someone that believed in God and, God would be the head of our household together. What were my core values? I believed in, having good credit, paying those bills on time, those type things. So I think crafting your marriage and having a vision for what you want it to look like, who you're going to be in that marriage, and what that partner is going to look like, and not sway from that. Just stick with your beliefs, because a lot of people, I think, they don't think about it ahead of time, and then they get married and then they spend most of the time trying to change that other person. You can't change people. They are who they are.
Yeah.
My favorite was the part when it said communication. And I looked at it as a communication, then the book has connecting. I said, oh, okay. We're communicating, but we're connecting with one another. Because communication is the key. Connecting and working together is another key. So I like that. Communicate and connect. That was awesome. I enjoyed reading about that. Different writers who had comments on it. It was great. And that's what I really, really loved about that book. Connecting, communicate, and connect.
All right. And thank you for that. And I know as married couples, you want to make sure you're connecting with your spouse.
Yes,
because I love connecting with Linda. But before we can connect, you have to communicate. So it's important that you do that. And even when you are dating as well, you still have to communicate as well. So it's very key points that you would have mentioned, Dan, and also Deborah, with having that vision. That's also important.
Yes, yes. And the thing is, it doesn't matter what stage of your relationship you are. There's still always room for growth and always room to learn more about your spouse. So whether you're recently married or you've been in it for 20 or 30 years, there's still room to learn more about your spouse. So do not close the door. We're telling you, couples, do not close the door on learning more about your spouse. That is what's going to keep the excitement in your relationship, so that you can indeed have a healthier, a stronger, healthier, happier relationship. So don't neglect connecting. Yes, definitely. But don't forget to do it together.
Yes. Yes. And now we have reached the fun part of the show, and everyone is looking forward to this
pen
part.
And paper. I'm ready to write.
Yes, everyone is looking forward to this one. And this here is where Dan and Deborah will let us know what is your number one tip or recommendation to making your relationship stronger, healthier, and happier. So let our viewing audience know, what is your number one tip?
Ooh, we've been waiting. So drum roll, everybody. Yes, we want to get this. So this is day number 8 tip. Let's go. Let's go.
Well, I would say, we would say that, a lot of times you're not going to agree 100% of the time, but it's a way to communicate and talk about things. But never, ever get into a disagreement or whatever, and one of you leave the house with it unresolved, or go to bed with it unresolved, because you never know if that person walks out that door and you were not on one accord, you were not together like you're supposed to be. You go to bed angry. Is that person going to wake up the next morning? Is that person going to go out there and something's going to happen, and then you'll regret it because, I let them leave and I was angry about something silly, something that we could have easily resolved. So, if we got disagreements, I say it, I might get loud or whatever, but then we're done. We're good. Right?
Yeah, right. But, I always found also that know your spouse, because a lot of times if she's had a hard day, a rough day, she might come back and you ask a question and it might come back harsh. So you got to know your spouse. Okay, if they ever come back harsh on a question, I ask a question and she don't answer it, I guess called to my satisfaction, but it seemed like it's harsh. I said, okay, wait a minute, I'll ask you that later. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
And she's here all day and in the office and doing work like that, but that that's build that relationship and make it healthy and make it happy. To know your spouse, to know when she's angry or he's angry, not about among both of you all, it might be something, and more likely it's something else. You've been having a stressful day, and she might turn around and want to bite my head off, but I thought, whoa, okay, we'll talk about this later. I see you had a stressful day. I got to know her, I got to understand her, and then I got to ratify the situation and make it easier for her.
Definitely. And that's leaving space for each other. And sometimes we have to give each other space and to grow, space to just reflect. And then, of course, as the person who's experiencing it, we need to also be mindful of our spouse as well in the moments when we're experiencing those things. But like you said, the key is getting to know each other. So when you know each other, you'll be like, okay, let's hold this off for another time. Something isn't right. And that's good to be able to just read the verbal cues that your spouse gives, that without them saying a word, and just being there to understand, to just give a hug when it's needed, to, just to be the shoulder, and just to kind of like bring that cup of coffee or tea or whatever, just to say, yeah, I'm here for you. So whenever you need to talk, I'll be here. And we need couples to definitely work on more of that. And that helps with, I think in the book, we also talk a lot about intimacy. We've spoken about that with some other guests as well. And that helps the connection. Okay, that definitely helps. And you know what I love about all of the tips? I have to say this, all of the tips, and which I want to caution our viewers and listeners, I need to caution you about it, is they sound simple, right? And then people will be like, oh yeah, I know that. I've heard that. That's in the Bible. But it's not what you know. It's what you do.
Right.
And so many times in our marriages, we hear and we know we should love our spouse. We know we should probably be saying the words. We know we should be showing love. We know we should be doing these things. And we shouldn't be going to bed angry or leave the house angry. We know we should spend time together. You know, all of these tips that we've heard. We know we should be dating each other. We know all of these things. But the problem is we aren't doing it intentionally or consistently. Mm-hmm. So don't get caught up in the, oh, I know this information. Get caught up in, am I living this? Am I doing this? Am I really doing the work to make the intentional work to make my marriage work, for it to be healthier and stronger and happier, and something that could really be on a mission to show others that, yes, this is what community is all about. Yes, this is what will build the world, these families, these marriages, which is going to help our communities.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I might have left off, and we always say, we tell each other, always be truthful with each other. Because, you know, being truthful is a great thing. Being untruthful is obviously, you might well say unfaithful, whatever you want to call it. That's how I looked at it. But always be truthful with your partner. And that builds the relationship, that builds happiness, and you know,
takes care of everything.
Yeah, that takes take care of a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
You're absolutely correct about that, Dan. You want to make sure you always be truthful, because if you're not, then you have to try and remember what you said and try to cover it up, and then it'll be on your conscience, and then yeah. So to avoid all of that stress and headache, you want to make sure you are always truthful.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just want to thank you again for that tip of the day, and I know that will go a far way with our couples.
Yes.
And as we bring this program to a conclusion, Dan and Deborah, can you let us know what are you doing now or have planned, and share with our viewing audience how they can get in touch with you?
Sure. Well, together, I just will say we're doing Build Your Best Life. Okay. And that is our 501c3, where we work to ensure that our young men, that's teenage and young adult males, learn basic principles to overcome obstacles and to build their best lives. And in working with our young men over the years, we've been doing this since 2019. We have found that, your young men and a lady, trying to tell them about basic principles, that's not something that they're easy to be drawn into. Mm-hmm. But we also found that there are so many single mothers raising sons. Yes. And so we are here to encourage our moms and teach them how they can get that support and things that they can do to assist their sons. So we have live broadcasts each Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's Blueprint for Success. On Thursdays, we have Let's Talk About It at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we talk about what's going on, what they need to know. And then on Saturdays, second Saturday, we have Conversation with the Guys. Those conversations that only men can tell our young men about. Mm-hmm. So they cover everything. And Dan can tell you more about that because he is one of those on that broadcast.
Okay, yes. What we like to do, get the information out, the experience out. A lot of time they ask what experience or what happened in your life, and we allow the information out. Now, by me being in law enforcement all those years, I saw a lot of different things happen in young men's life. I try to correct them.
Okay.
And, and it's also with that, I bring, different scenarios of what happened during my experience and share with them and try to keep them on the right path. Because I know that a lot of kids, I am a deacon at the church, and a lot of kids, a lot of the young people and the young adults call me Papa Dan. So, they look for help. If they got questions, they even send their son to me. Go to Deacon Dan.
Good.
Yeah.
we talk and we explain, and I tell them how to handle different situations. But that talk with the guys is great because we have, there's 4 of us on there, and we share a lot of our experience, a lot of, the different things that happen in our lives.
And it's Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. And then on third Saturdays, we have Moms on a Mission and Raising Sons for Success. So we have a panel of moms that are on there. So if you're interested in joining some of the conversations, to be a part of conversations with the guys or Moms on a Mission, or to get more information about Build Your Best Life, you can go to my website, www.buildyourbestlife.org. That's www.buildyourbestlife.org. Or you can email me at byblwdsmith, which stands for Build Your Best Life with Deborah Smith, at gmail.com.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you very much, Dan and Deborah, and to the Unique Couples community. There you have it. Build your best life.
Yep.
You want to make sure you connect with Dan and Deborah. You want to tune in and help our young men.
Yes.
With all of us can work together in helping our young men. And this here can be in the Bahamas, in the United States, all over.
Yes.
So we want to ensure we help our young men, because our young men, they are the future. And they will also get married as well. So we want to make sure we are doing that. So we just want to say thank you again to Dan and Deborah for being with us today on day 8 of the 7 Pillars to Strengthen Your Marriage Summit, Marriage on a Mission. We had a great time with you all. We loved the nuggets and the tips that were shared. And I know that it will go a long way. And I know that persons will go ahead and purchase their copy of 7 Pillars to Strengthen Your Marriage.
Yes.
So we just want
Deborah didn't talk about her book too. Yes, so she has a book. I don't know if so let me see. Oh, too far for me to reach over and get. But yes, she's the author of the book Build Your Best Life as well. So you can find her book on Amazon. We're so happy. Thank you so much for pouring into this mission. And I was sharing, so everybody else, I'm saying you go ahead and share as well, because you never know who you will help.
Yes.
Thank you for having us. We enjoy it.
Thank you too. Here at Unique Couples, we are building stronger couples, healthier marriages, and happier families. Love you guys. Have a great thing.
Bye.
Bye.